And welcome back, my trusty air acolytes, to Airbender Island in the great city of Republic City. It is time for a new episode of The Legend of Korra. Well, an old new episode of The Legend of Korra. This time around, it is A Leaf in the Wind. Watch how I soar. Oh, there's a harpoon in my chest. With me, as always, VHS Jase. What, was that too soon? It was too soon.
Yes, hello.
It.
Yes.
It's a little delayed, but there he is. Okay, we got a little bit of a lag today. So let's get into it. And well, we open up with Korra on Airbender Island. She's undergoing Airbender training, and she is failing miserably, trying to make her way through this, basically what is an Airbender obstacle course, something you would probably see on Squid Game. And
yeah, no thanks.
It's a little early in the episode, but I'm afraid we already have the cursed image of the week. Here we go.
Great image. I love that she has to wear the Aang costume for it, though. Like,
yes. One thing that I really love about this series is that, you know, we've had this technological explosion.
Oh yeah.
And you know, now we have cars and we have electricity. As the series goes on, you actually see an evolution of the Earthbender and the Airbender uniforms as well.
Oh, cool.
And I really like the redesigned Airbender uniforms because they make tactical sense. And you just kind of wonder, why was this not done before? But I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, Korra is bored on Airbender Island. She's not getting the airbending lessons. She still can't airbend, even though she's going airbend, web, fly. Go, web, go! She's trying to do all that good stuff. None of it's working. Tenzin is getting frustrated. The kids are not helping either. And Korra just needs to get out. And she becomes fascinated with pro bending, which is like this sport that has popped up in Republic City. And so against Tenzin's wishes, she sneaks out and she goes over to the pro bending arena. And there she meets Bolin, a pro bender. And yeah, I like him too. Bolin basically saves her from getting thrown out by pretending that they are together, and takes her to their private suite. Not like that, their private like game suite where they can watch the game. And there is Bolin's brother, Mako. First of all, very classy avatar. I enjoy that.
I picked that immediately.
Yep. Voiced by David Faustino, by the way. You may remember him as Bud Bundy from Married with Children. Another distinctive voice. So yeah, these are two characters who will be with us for a while. We got one more who has not been introduced yet, but this is 3/4 of our main group. Well, actually, 3/5 of our main group, because I guess you'd throw Tenzin in there as well.
Yeah.
One more character's coming up. You'll know when that character gets here. So there is this basically it is the game of Tron from the movie Tron.
Yeah. It's the disc throw game.
Yeah, you have an earthbender, a firebender, and a waterbender on each team, and they are trying to knock each other off of platforms with their bending. And of course, you know, there's all these kind of rules and things that we learn later. But I mean, you said it the best whenever you said, this is actually a cool sport.
I gotta say, dude, I love this sport. I mean, I'm a bit of a sports fan anyway. So to actually see that they turned a game out of elements was like, of course you would. Yeah. Makes total sense. And you know what? It's also why I love it, because it's an easy game to follow. The rules are easy. It's pretty clear what's going to happen here. And the scenes are exciting. So I was like, oh, this is a nice surprise.
Oh, yeah. And I'm glad you like it, because you're going to be seeing a lot of it in the future. But don't let that... I will say, it sticks around as long as it needs to. Let me just put it
I like the sport, so I don't care if the whole series is that.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But, you know, it is for a little while. So after the game... Bolin is having a conversation with Korra. Mako is being kind of a douchebag in the background, and
he's brooding.
They suss out that Korra is the Avatar, and that kind of humbles Mako, thinking, "Wow, I'm an idiot. I didn't figure that out." and you kind of get this little hint of humility from him, but he's still kind of a douchebag. Korra sneaks back to Airbender Island and it starts another day of airbending training, where she loses her temple and completely trashes the Squid Game set.
Hmm.
Then completely loses it on Tenzin, saying, maybe you're just a bad teacher. Korra is a very flawed person. I'm going to say that. I think a lot of people, whenever she was not perfect, whenever she was not Aang, a lot of people turned against her. But you have to understand, Korra is written very realistically. She gets frustrated. She gets angry.
She's in
And
a state of confusion with her life.
she is, because this is
She's
the
a normal teenage girl who
good
doesn't
at.
know her place.
Yeah, she's not good at this. And so she doesn't know how to handle this situation. At
Look,
the
man, I
same
think I
time, at the same time, Tenzin is kind of a bad teacher because he's never dealt with any of this before, only with his own children. He's never
they're
had to
learning together.
teach. Yeah, he's never had to teach somebody this old how to do airbending before. And as they say, this is the element that is so against the water. The you're born into the water tribe. Air is so against water that it's hard to do. Earth bending was hard for Aang to do,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
really like that. So I'm just gonna say Korra is a flawed character. Tenzin is a flawed character as well. No one on this show is perfect. As a matter of fact, I would say that these are probably the most
Yeah, you're
imperfect
making
characters
it
that have
sound
been
like, and
on
I know you're
Avatar
not
so
saying it
far.
to me.
No, I'm saying it to everyone
Wow.
out there
Okay.
because there's this whole thing about,
Yeah, I'm saying I know you're saying it to everyone out
yeah,
there. Yeah, that's
there's
what
a
I was
lot
gonna
of
ask.
unnecessary Korra hate, I think. Now,
That's yeah.
is this a perfect series? No. The first and second season, I think, end up having major problems. Uh, one of the worst problems that I think with the first season starts rearing its ugly head in the first few episodes, and in my opinion, is actually worse than the Where's Appa arc.
Mm,
The second
okay.
season, again, they did not expect to have a second season, and whenever they had one, I don't think they had much of a plan for it. So you can kind of see that as well. Third and fourth
Yeah.
seasons are fantastic,
Yeah. Yeah.
though.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned with Cora as a character, yes, she's flawed. But for me, who's first seeing this, maybe it's the fact that I'm a father of a daughter and I've raised a daughter who's now in her mid
oh,
20s. That seems extremely relatable to the way teenagers emotionally handle situations. So I
absolutely.
don't hate her at all. In fact, I appreciate you. If she wasn't flawed, wouldn't they be screaming that she's a Mary Sue?
Oh, absolutely. With female
So
characters, there's no winning. If
exactly.
they're
I
if
prefer
they're not
this.
perfect, then they are terribly written, and
Yep.
if they are perfect, they're Mary Sue's. There's just no
Yeah.
winning. But anyway, our favorite flawed avatar goes back to the pro bending matches and learns that Bolin and Mako's waterbender partner has quit, is a no show, and they're about to have to forfeit. And then she's all like, "Hey, I have a great idea. How about I be your waterbender?"
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Never in a million years are we going to let you be our waterbender."
Mm.
So anyway, Korra's the waterbender now, and again, she's in a situation that she thinks she's going to be great in because she's been great at everything, and she totally sucks at it. She sucks at this game. She keeps getting her butt handed to her. Um, Repeatedly and embarrassingly. She doesn't know the rules, she doesn't know the techniques, and the other team basically just like gangs up on her at one point because they can recognize her weakness, and she gets
Yeah.
more and more frustrated with that. Meanwhile, back on Airbender Island, the White Lotus people are listening to the radio, and Tenzin comes up and says, "Has anyone seen Korra?" Right when the radio says, "And the Avatar is on is
Mhm.
is on the field," and that, of course, leads to this, which I think is just
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
hilarious.
I love gags like this. Um, so Tenzin goes to confront her. She is in the drink right now. She has been thrown off the stage, and he just comes up there and he's just not happy with her. You deliberately disobeyed me. You won't listen to anybody. I'm just trying to train you. And she says, "I am getting trained up there.
Mm.
This game is helping me. It's helping me a lot more than you are." And you realize right here, Cora kind of has a point that we are seeing Industrial revolution, we're seeing the roaring 20s right now, a time when tradition and innovation are just smacking each other like goats on a mountain.
Yeah.
Um, Tenzin is all about tradition. Korra is all about innovation. So it is a generational issue at this point. And yeah, Korra's got a point, and she lets him have it. She's getting all of this off of her chest at this point, and it is
Yeah.
justified. Now, is she correct in the way that she does it? Probably not. Was there a better place or a better way she could have said it? Absolutely. But whenever those emotions bubble up, sometimes you can't help where it comes out. And whenever you have just been humiliated, whenever you're
Mm.
supposed to be the best, and all of a sudden here's the authority figure telling you what to do again, yeah, she's going to erupt.
I feel like this show is tonally very different already. Like, I feel like the humor, the way things are being tackled is different. It is certainly, I don't want to, the word keeps popping in my head, but I don't want to insult the show. But I feel all early kind of lacks the whimsy of Avatar. And I think that's probably on purpose because we're doing a more mature kind of story. And I think that's I could also understand maybe that's a reason that some fans, if they are really fans, were rejecting it early on. But for me, I appreciate them tackling this universe from a different perspective. I hope they do that with all Avatar content.
Yeah. And
Each
I
one is
completely
different.
agree. I think that this is a more mature take on the universe. It is told in a dramatically different way.
Mm,
There is whimsy, there is, but it is doled out in very small pieces, especially in the first season. I think they
mm,
loosen up a little bit as it goes on. You get
mhm.
a little bit more magic, a little bit more silliness. Even in this season, it gets a little bit more silly. But right now, they are definitely telling stories for young adults
Mm.
because those people grew up with Aang, and now they are 13, 14, 15 years old. This is a series that's aimed at them. And
Yeah.
I think that it tells some very important life lessons. For example, when Korra gets back up on the platform, she's basically about to lose, and
Yeah.
then she starts she's like a leaf in the wind. At the very beginning, they told her you have to be like a leaf in the wind. And so she starts avoiding and evading like an airbender, like they were
But I'm
trying to teach
thinking
her
through that
with
moment.
this, yeah, like they were trying to teach her with the Squid Game set up here.
Oh,
She
I was
starts
thinking at the
doing
moment
it.
though. I'm thinking Karate Kid Part 2, the little
Yes.
drum, and then
Yes.
him at the end doing that. So, yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah, but I loved this
Yeah, it
moment
was good.
where
It
it
was
just
beautiful.
clicks in her head and she brings it. And what made this moment even better was the fact that Tenzin stayed and he starts rooting for her. I
Yeah,
just
that's a nice
love that
moment.
because you just see
Yeah.
there is this moment where innovation realizes that tradition is useful, and then tradition recognizes that innovation
Yeah.
is useful as well. They meet each other halfway, and I
Plus, I
think that's
also
that's
think
great.
Tenzin is like behind the armor's bit of a fun, goofy guy. I feel like his internal struggle is to keep that down and to keep himself. That's what I've got from the first 2 episodes. There's a really sweet, fun guy underneath that likes goofing around, I reckon.
Tenzin has
He
got
is
a
the
lot of
bloodline of Avatar. Yeah.
he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders because they didn't make it very clear at the very beginning, but
Mhm.
when Aang and Katara had children, they only had one airbender.
Yeah.
Kaya, their daughter, is a waterbender, and their son Bumi is not a bender at all.
Wow.
And so it all fell on Tenzin to bring back the Air Nation. And so he is heavily, heavily burdened. And we get
Okay.
more of that later on in the series. I thought you were going to
Very
say
cool.
something. Okay.
No, no,
I was
okay,
I
okay,
was
yeah, it's
waiting for
very
your
cool.
thoughts.
No, no, well, my thoughts are I already look, I think the characters are strong. You know, you know what the problem is because now I feel like, oh, what's everybody complaining about? And I'm struggling to find what they're complaining about. Like I'm
There
watching it almost from the perspective of going, "What's wrong with this? This is pretty rad. I love this. What's going on?"
there is some stuff to complain about later. I will say
Cool.
that. It's got a very strong part. It's got a very strong opening, and then I don't want to say it
Okay.
falls apart, but it definitely falters quite a bit.
How long?
But
How many? We have 12 episodes in this season, I
yes.
believe. 12
Yeah, I think
episodes.
every season is between 12 and 16 episodes. So
But
not
that's
as
weird. It's the 12 is the first book. The second book is 14. Then we have 3 and 4, which are 13 apiece.
yeah. So we don't get the long seasons like we did with Avatar. However, we do get 4 seasons instead of 3.
Yeah.
So the Fire Ferrets congratulate each other for a good win, and not Qatar. Oh my gosh, Korra uh, accepts their offer that she's going to be a permanent member, and then back on Airbender Island, well, Tenzin admits that he was wrong. Says, you know what? I think that this was good for you to come out here and try something new because you learned something from it. And Korra says, well, you know what? You were right too, because if it hadn't have been for what you taught me, then I would not have been successful.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm joining the Fire Ferrets full time, which is great. And then
Which
we
is
end. Then we end with Korra longingly looking across the bay at the stadium, and I love these shots like this where she's just so wide eyed and everything. It's just awesome.
the show's
And
gorgeous to look at. I love the art style and the design and the look of Avatar, and was so impressed by the time they got to season 3 how good it looked. But this thing is just next level.
it is. And of course, meanwhile, in a different part of the city,
Thanos.
mm,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
still I'm still standing here. I'm gonna start my evil plan any moment now. You just wait. It's evil. It's super evil.
It's
So
my after
evil.
credit scene. Yeah.
So evil. I wasn't even. No, that's not even in this episode. I took that from the last episode. I just think it's funny that this, like, I'm the big bad guy, and you're not gonna see me in the next episode. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, what
that's
is
it.
the next episode called?
The next episode is called, if I'm not mistaken, The Revelation, and we do get into the Equalist storyline.
Okay, that's
Avatar
interesting.
Korra and Mako attempt to infiltrate the Equalist movement and learn more about its mysterious leader, Amon. They discover that, well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say the rest of it because it's a little bit spoiled.
Yeah, because
I
that synopsis
don't
basically
know
gave
what
away the
that's doing
plot.
in the synopsis. But there we go. That's it.
All right,
Yeah, pretty
fantastic.
much. I mean, that doesn't
Brilliant.
give away the plot because there's a lot more to it than that. But yeah.
Can't wait.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of A Leaf in the Wind. If you would please like, share, subscribe, and check out the video description below where you can become a Patreon.
Yo,
For as little
yo.
as $5 a month or more, you can help support us and this stupid, stupid, fun, stupid thing that we do. And of course, be sure to join us next week for another exciting episode of the Legend of Korra, and for any news that drops about Seven Havens or Aang the Last Airbender, because we're going to be covering all that too, because exciting things are happening in the world of Avatar, and we're going to be on it like white on rice. So be sure to join us right here on Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast.
I was going to say more like fly on
It's a kid show. It's a kid show. You can't say shit on a kid show.
I didn't. You did.